Hi, welcome to the Laughing Tree. I just thought I'd done quite a lot of videos recently that I've uploaded, which is just absolutely crazy. I recommend watching Hunter S Thompson being interviewed by Keith Richards. Bonkers. I can't possibly explain it, even if I wanted to. But check it out, it's on my playlist. Absolutely ridiculous. Can't believe people like that exist. And this kind of led me to a certain way of thinking. And that's that video and several of the others, Rip Torn versus Norman Mailer, and even check out the little Hobbit video I made about Bilbo from Lord of the Rings. I have a couple of dudes who not better at IT than I am. As you can tell, I'm just recording with my phone. I've only just got YouTube back after like a year or so. Anyway, they helped me, and it's like a Monty Python Lord of the Rings. It's fucking ridiculous. But what this is making me think about is I live in like the Shire. Yep, so it's as close to the Lord of the Rings Hobbiton, the Shire, as you can imagine, except full of crackheads and just horrible people. It's like what would happen, if pretty much heroin or meth leaked into the Shire. Pretty much. Well, nah, the hobbits were fucking sorry. I'm just watching The Big Lebowski. I fucking have to just turn it down. So I've got to watch this film all the time, man, just to keep me safe, man. It's like taking a Valiant. This film. You don't need to take any prescription medicine. Just watch this film, and realize that it's all life just doesn't need to be taken serious. Because if you do take life serious, then you're gonna go fucking mad. So what's the point? Just don't take it serious. And the funniest thing is when people are like, "Oh, why can't you just take life serious?" And you would respond, why can't you take it serious? Why can't you be like me? But you just don't take it serious at all. You can't be asked to, can't be bothered out for the aggro. My life is just, if it was like a line, it would be the most squiggly line ever of me just dancing my way out of aggro. But yeah, I always just get muddled and caught in it. It's like trying to tie a really, really simple shoelace, and I end up overcomplicating it and just buggering my life up. So yeah, anyway, the next thing what I was thinking about is the fact that this year, or 2018 in particular, has been a crazy year of politics. We've had the great BREXIT in the UK. So I'll just give my thoughts to you on BREXIT. I'm hard left. Yeah, I would consider myself, that's the closest I've probably been to when I really gave a shit. Benite, yeah, I've read all Tony Benn's books back in the day when Ben and Corbyn were chums, and Ben was highly admired by everybody. Everybody. And then obviously he could have ran for PM. He was hard left, but he had conviction. He wasn't Harold Wilson. There's just a certain amount of respect that Tony Benn had that not many politicians have ever had, especially not from the opposite party. So Corbyn, he is missing a few things that Tony Benn is. One, Tony Benn's awfully amazing accent. He's got the most beautiful accent ever. It's not like a toff. It's like it's like Aslan. He's like Aslan. It's so awful because it makes me just wish that I had it and everyone had it, but they don't. So one, Tony Benn's, he just sounds like a boss. He is a boss. His voice commands respect. Two, he doesn't stutter. He knows, he's made his mind up about it. He doesn't need to write it down. He doesn't need to freestyle because he knows what he's about to say. That's him. He's honest to the bone, which Corbyn's been for quite a long time, and we don't know how different Tony Benn would have been if he had to compromise and become party leader. especially leader of the opposition, but he never did. So, it's a stupid hypothetical question. We do know that, and I pretty could say for sure that because of this, Ben would never change his opinion on nuclear weapons. He was obviously the president of the nuclear disarmament, and I think that's why, he would never have ran for world leader. Corbyn was president too, but obviously he's had to retire when he became Labour leader, and now he's kind of said, yeah, I'd push the button, stuttering when he said this, if they did first. What a load of nonsense. You may as well say that you may as well not have the button in the first place, because just by suggesting what he did, he ultimately defeats the object. But it would be great, and I could see this happening. Putin, it's very strange world politics, because none of us really have any fucking idea. We read the papers that we have, and then we we get a little bit wiser, and we begin to just think that most of these are owned by the evil demon that is fucking Murdoch. And then the left-wing ones are just either neoliberal, like The Guardian, or just shit and full of just tits. So you look at papers like The Intercept, which is, but still, you're always doubting which paper to believe, why to believe it. I think political education is key to everything. It's from a young age, because a lot of Labour voters, a lot of people who should be voting for Labour, should have always been voting for Labour. People who didn't even know what New Labour meant voted for Conservatives. Obviously, New Labour did go on to absolutely batter the Conservatives. But what I'm saying is that this neoliberal New Labour Blairitism that carried on, they didn't really know what any of that was. They just kind of believed this stupid old Thatcher bullshit, that the harder you try in life, the more effort you put into it, the more you'll get out of it. And I think that is an opinion held by people throughout the classes. Every single person holds that opinion. And in a fair world, and I do think that there's been many times in the history of Homo sapiens in the last 200,000 years where that had some foundation. But in the world we're in now, I don't at all. I think that it has corrupted the minds of everybody. It's made them greedy, and it's made them think that you're defined by your career or how much money you earn or whatever. And if you fail something, you really try and you really do put the effort in, just as much as somebody who's made it. If you fail, you're not worthy. And it's a bit like putting children in sets when at school. Certainly American people, this is when children are put in sets from the age of 8 onwards. They're told at 7, 8 years old that, their best friend's a genius and they're a fucking idiot. Great for self-esteem, that is, well then, and people like Boris Johnson, you went to Eton, for fuck's sake. Keith Richards, for example, he went to LSE, wanted to be a politician, but then pretty funny imagining that, Christ. And Keith, he grew up on the poor side of the road. If Keith went to Eton from a young age, he'd be quite, I'd say, Mick Jagger-esque. He'd still have the rock star in him, that was always an innate part of him, but he'd have the voice and if Boris Johnson went to a local shitty comp in the shittest area to where I live, which is Hester's Way in Cheltenham, in Gloucestershire, which is ironically just next to the General Communications headquarters. So, so if any terrorist feels like bombing GCHQ, make sure you get Hester's Way. Miss, and accidentally get Hester's Way. But anyhow, you take a kid out of Hester's Way, you take him to Eton, and in 20 years' time, he's got someone just as smart as Boris Johnson. So I think knowledge has a lot to do with how we perceive what we think is intelligent. For example, my dad is very intelligent. He's good with JavaScript and hacking. Everything that that requires, somebody who has a high IQ would be good at. Whereas on the other hand, I wouldn't consider myself very intelligent in terms of I'm not dyslexic, dyspraxic, which I think is just something I want to get into another video as well, about where mental health, and personality, where the blurred lines are. But essentially it just means that I'm quite useless with my hands, as in I couldn't be able to. In DT once, I remember, I didn't even know how bad I was, because I thought I was getting better. When you see yourself improving and you're kind of not looking at anyone else's work because you're just so caught up in yours, like, oh my God, I sanded this wood really well. Oh my God, it smells of rich mahogany, even though it's probably just shitty recycled fucking, I don't know. But my teacher was like, Aaron, can you come up here? So I went to class. She was like, bring your work, acting really nice, with a smile that I've never seen. Then fucking demon witch. And she fucking looked at the rest of the class. She picked up my work and she said, this is exactly what you shouldn't do. And I looked at her and I just, that was back in the time when I was quite, I'd say, cared, took life too seriously. I think I probably thought about that for, a good week. Like, why can't I want to make a box? Like, well, why can't I make a box? I want to make a box. Why can't I? And then I thought, no, I don't want to make a box. I'll just fucking buy one if I want one. If I want an individual box, I'll fucking just buy an individual one. Make it my individual one. Or just get, I don't know, fuck it. I don't care. Nothing I can do about it. So, yeah, that's just, these are just kind of like pre-warm-ups for the podcast. Just kind of the stuff that I'll be talking about, ranging from politics to woodwork. Next one I'm going to do is going to be more on the topic of the videos that I've been putting on. And I'm just going to rate the top 5 Hellraisers. And by Hellraisers, I don't just mean the Peter O'Toole, Richard Harris, Oliver Reed, occasionally Steve McQueen, George Best, Keith Moon, and John Bonham used to come along for a stash. But I'm going to rate, I call them all the Hellraisers. So from Hunter S. Thompson to Norman Mailer to Hemingway, all of the dudes in the playlist. Please do check the playlist out, because it's fucking hilarious. I don't even make money off any of the videos, and it's fucking hilarious. It's just hard to believe that any of it is real and that those things actually happened. Bonkers. Like, I'm starting to crack up ever since I've done it. But yeah, so I'm just going to be like just chatting shit, blabbering on, rambling on, blah, 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 like these for a few videos, and then before I get on my podcast kit, just if you hear something you don't like that I'm talking about, then it would be great if you could just help me out. If you just write it down, put it in an envelope, stamp it, and then burn it. Yeah, pretty much fucking burn it. Don't give a fuck. But if you do like stuff, then comment. Getting a bit of arguments. So the question that this particular podcast is going to raise is, Rome, for example, had Pax Romana, longest period of peace in human history recorded, but it would have been one of the longest. And this is under autocratic rule under Augustus Caesar to begin with, the first emperor. Not Julius Caesar, but Julius Caesar paved the way. He created an empire, but he wasn't officially the first emperor. So it was his grandnephew, Octavian, became Augustus Caesar. But he manipulated the Senate into thinking he wasn't an emperor, and he was first citizen. So that's what he styled himself as. But anyhow, he was autocratic. He had sole power, but he led Rome, which was the world at the time. It was the closest thing that we'll have to a universal world. The Romans were quite tolerant of everything, except I don't know, having an orgy with less than 10 people. That was mental. Had to be more than 10. Had to be morphine. Had to be animals too. And fuckloads of wine. But yeah, so that was the longest period of peace within the whole of the Roman Empire. They were still conquering a bit surrounding outside, but not really conquering. It was more securing lands and such. And anyway, this is Pax Romana, peace for Rome. Why do you think that we've never had anything close to that since? Well, when Rome collapsed, you know, it was pretty much, I don't know, it's like if a fucking cokehead dropped their bag of coke, they'd be all over the floor trying to pick up the little pieces. But imagine 50 cokeheads doing that. So they just tried to, it was vultures that were fucking all on meth trying to fucking pick apart some piece of carrion. Rome was it was like a vulture stumbling upon a huge, beautiful, slowly cooked, seasoned lamb. And there's 1,000 vultures on meth and they want that shit. So that's what happened. And I still think now that the legacy of Rome, or wanting to be the next Rome, went on for a long, long time. You look at Napoleon, he was a self-styled Caesar, or Kaiser, as it should be correctly pronounced. So was Hitler. And, you know, the Romans were the first people to really nail it. And not only nail it, but preserve it for a long time. So why have we never had, I would use war as the one word to define humanity more so than anything else. And probably booze and war, they were positively correlated. But anyway, what would you say that was the reason that, like for example, I say booze, because if we're all doing this, none of that shit would have happened. You know? Would have just been like, you know, Alexander the Blazer, you know? Would have been, Julius Caesar wouldn't have been like an emperor, he would have just been a guy in his sort of like, he would have been an emperor in his own head, but the whole time he's just chilling, getting high, thinking that he is. So, you know, there wouldn't have been all those people killed, everyone's just chilling, fantasizing, daydreaming. But what happened? So, why didn't things turn to the equilibrium of Rome? Why was there never another dominant power that had the Pax Romana that Rome did? Do you think it's attainable now? Or do you think that fear has completely annihilated love? So that's the question. Write comments in the answers, and what write answers in the comments, and we'll have a little debate. And essentially, yeah, the question is, why has there never been a repeat Pax Romana, peace for the world? And there's a few reasons I could cite, you know, to you what are the main reasons. And please give a decent argument, you know, don't say something stupid like, oh, fucking social media, because that's recent. And I do believe that's big downfall, especially Instagram, you know. But I'm going to get on to my next video, which is, I'm just going to write for the moment until I get all my podcast set up, just random videos talking about random shit and why I think some of it is a bit fucking ridiculous, and the dangers it can have on society, and it has had on me and lots of people, and why, being 23, for example, I prefer to be on my own. And I wouldn't say that's because I'm a recluse, although I am, as a consequence. But like, I prefer to read and to study and to watch a Big Lebowski and to have a White Russian and drink ale and fantasize about fantasy worlds and smoke. Because seems to me the easier route, you know, the easiest route to me in life seems to avoid stress. That's as simple as it is. And some people might think, well, you know, but if I don't go to work, it's going to cause me stress because I won't have any money. But yeah, you know, if you spent, if I'll leave this to my next video, because I'll make like a part 2 of this. It's just something that I thought about, and I thought about it, did it, worked out, massive success. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing this. So I'll just make a quick clip of what it is in my next video, and try it, you know, and see what happens. Okay. Thank you for watching. 19 minutes. Fucking hell, you get. Ooh, Christ, 19 minutes. And yeah, subscribe. That'd be decent. That'd help me out, And then you're just not going to forget about me, That'd be sad. And you can see all the different podcasts. I got a few celebrities coming on. So just going to talk about and off the back to Maryland soon. So I'm just going to talk about everything that I think is relevant. Some will be serious, some will be not. So and please remember to comment what you think the answer to that fucking question was. Why has there been no Pax Romana since? And if there has, correct me. Okay, I'm from the West, remember? I do read a lot of Eastern history, but come on. Do the best you can. And whoever gets any answer that I think is fucking better than what I imagine most people would say if I stopped them in the street, that they'd even know what Pax Romana is. Anyone who gives a decent enough answer, I'll send you out something. I've got a load of t-shirts. I've sent out a few Hunter S Thompson t-shirts, Keith Richards t-shirts. So yeah, just kind of I design t-shirts and stuff, and like kind of like memorabilia. So if you want some sort of thing, just write a comment. Write a comment, subscribe, like, dislike, whatever. And if you answer, I'll send you out a t-shirt. If you live in America, it might take a bit longer because I'm still back in Gloucestershire. But yeah, just let me know. I can even PayPal you, but make sure the answer is fucking good. All right, take it easy. And yeah. Oh fuck. Maybe smoke a joint. It might help.